Hello everybody, welcome back to a new video. Today we're going to be talking about percussions, which is one of the first things I tackled on this channel as a tutorial. I did one a long time ago, but I wanted to kind of revisit it. I've been experimenting a lot lately with controlled randomness, which I've shown off on this channel before, and I found a cool way to implement that for percussive elements in psytrance or in other genres if you want. And before we get into it, I want to quickly thank everybody. Lately my channel has been doing very well, and people have actually started to share videos in like Facebook groups and Discord groups. I can see that from my analytics. And the other day I got a massive view boost on a very old video of mine, about 300 views in total, which was made it the third video to hit 1,000 views in total, which is amazing. And I really love sharing everything I know about music production with you guys, and seeing that you guys are actually helping me grow as well really helps me. So thank you for that, but without further ado, let's just get right into it. Alright, so here you can see the chain that I've set up. It's a very simple chain, but the sound that it makes is quite amazing. I'm quickly going to scroll through so you can see what's going on and you can kind of expect what's going to happen. But let's quickly take a listen to it. Let's quickly mute the delay here. Alright, so that's what's going on. Now I've laid it out in a way that we can quickly see what's going on. And I want to quickly go over the last way I did these kind of percussive lines for you. Now the last time I did this, what I did is I used a random note generator from this random pack here together with the arpeggio to trigger it. And what you would do is you would set this up like this, and you would set up your MIDI file or your MIDI note here. And then this would randomize it. You would set the chance to 100, and there's I don't exactly recall how it was done. There's a few modes here how to do it, but basically what this would do is it would create random notes, and then you would use those notes to trigger a drum rack. Now this is very cool, and this is a very cool way of doing things, and it allows you to make infinitely random sequences. But again, with what we've been doing lately with controlled randomness, it's not reproducible. So the trick that I'm going to show you now actually, as you could hear in the example, is reproducible. So once you've set up what you've set up, it will always sound the same, which is fairly important. If you want to render it, you don't want to, for example, render it out, have a final render of your master, and then listen to it and then decide that you don't like a particular sequence because it was randomly generated. So let's go into it. I'm going to close this down so we can quickly take a look at the effects, and then we'll actually recreate this from scratch. So what you can see here is that we're just doing some EQ work. We have some filtering. We have a saturator and a delay. So if we take those off and I'll leave on the equalizer, you can actually hear that it's just some percussion samples playing again. Now the way you set this up is actually a lot more easier. What you do is you set up a MIDI track, and then you drop on an instrument rack, and you open up the chains here. And now all you have to do is go into a sample pack like one of these. This is an old Vengeance Sound sample pack that I have, and just take a whole bunch of samples. It's gonna take a while to load because I'm recording, so bear with me here. You just take a whole bunch of them and you drop them in right here. Again, it's gonna take a little bit. And now what you're going to do is you're gonna go into your chain. You're gonna click one of the chains, hit Ctrl A. You're going to spread them out like this, and then you hit distribute ranges equally. Now I've talked about this distributed ranges equally before, I think, on the channel. I talked it in the one where we had like 3 synthesizers in an instrument rack and 1 silent one. We used that to quickly distribute the range. And there I mentioned that I didn't know if it was an option. I still haven't figured that out or not, if it's an option or if it's standard. If it's an option, that means that you have to go into your options.txt file inside your Ableton installation folder and add a command to that line, a line to that. You should be able to find that on the internet. Unfortunately, I don't know if it is, so you will have to figure that out. I just have it, so it might be in there. And we're going to take the chain selector and we'll map that to macro 1. So now this is basically our random percussion generator almost. If we play it, you will hear, if I turn on my keyboard, I can select which percussion it is playing. So now all I have to do to create sequences out of this is to take an arpeggiator so that it will chop up all the sounds and just hold the note and modulate this thing. So we can use this, we can put down our MIDI note. Let's set it at C3 so that it plays at a nice pitch. You can always work with that. That's another interesting thing here. If you want to pitch up all the percussions, you can just do that. With the drum rack method, you had to go into each drum rack and pitch them up, or copy value to siblings, which is I'm sure is a option in the options.txt file. So let's now set up a nice automation, something like this maybe. Just something simple so you get the idea. So that's a nice loop. Now what you can do is you can do a couple of things. You can, for example, if you hit B on your keyboard, you get this drawing thing here. And you can set some of them to different speeds. So that's it plays some percussions a bit faster. Something like this maybe. We'll set one here very fast. And you get a nice loop that way. And because of the way the arpeggio works, you have this gate option. It will always kind of gate them, but I think what you need to do, it started off as classic. What you might want to do is turn the release down all of these a little bit to around 5 milliseconds. And again, this copy value to siblings, I'm pretty sure this is an option in your options.txt file. So if you don't find it in this menu, search for options.txt Ableton Live and you will be able to find it there. And you click this and this will copy over that option to all of the other instruments in that specific rack. So now if you do these fast rolls, it should sound a little bit less cluttered there because it's turning the release down a bit. So you can hear the individual impacts a bit more. Now to get this final sound, what I actually did is fairly simple. We had this EQ to get rid of all the lower frequencies, which we are just going to copy over. And I do want to show you how to make that bandpass effect that this one had. If you listen to this and turn everything back on, you can hear that we had this nice bandpass effect, which is coming from this rack here. It's not very noticeable because it's in a dry-wet situation, so we're going to quickly make that. And to do that is, I think I've gone over the dry-wet rack that I have, but I'll quickly make it from scratch so you have an idea of what's going on. So let's open this up. What we're going to do is we're going to create 2 chains here. And we're going to go into the chain selector again. We're going to select both of them. And we'll take these upper parts, which is determines the crossfade, and set one of them right there and the other one right there. And now we have to truncate this one and this one. And again, you want this lower one to be at a different region than the other one, and you want the last of both to be just there. So this should be what it looks like, actually, like that. You want to extend the one that is fully crossfaded to this side one more, so that you have no leakage of volume there. Now we can map this to a macro, and this will be our dry wet setting. And then it's important that you use the second chain for your effect. So let's quickly throw on the auto filter and kind of set up what we had before, which was a nice high resonance filter. And we'll quickly draw in some automation for that as well. I'll copy this over, give this a nice crossfade so that it doesn't click anywhere. And now we have this. Oh, wrong chain, sorry. So you can mix that in nicely. You might want to turn the resonance down a bit on this, otherwise you're distorting a lot and clipping. Something else that can prevent clipping is a saturator. So we'll drag that on, and if we're clipping, we can turn the soft clip on, and that will make sure we're not. And you can even turn the output down if you want, and maybe give it some more drive so it is a little bit louder and sounds a bit nicer. You can hear that sounds a bit nicer. And then finally we just add our delay to get that nice psychedelic effect. So I'll set the delay time to 4. Normally I use 3, but because we're dealing with a lot of 1/8 notes, I don't want them to be in between when those happens. I just want the notes of the faster things to go in between. So this will be a multiple of 1/8, which will nicely stack up and sound like this. You can hear that normally when the 1/8 notes are playing, you can't really hear the delay from them. But once we have one of those faster rolls, you can really hear that delaying through, which is really cool. Now, of course, you can add a whole bunch of effects more to this. You can go really crazy and do some stuff like the filter FM we've talked about. You can do the fast delay trick we've talked about. Other things that I have mentioned on this channel a lot. You can do all kinds of things, but I just wanted to mainly focus on this thing and the real ease with which you can set up this this randomizer here without having to go through the drum rack and assign things and stuff like that. For example, the pitch, which I talked about, we can just, if we want it to sound a little bit more higher in frequency, we can just pitch it up by an octave. Now, because of the bandpass filter, it won't really sound all that different, but if we turn it off, it should sound a lot different now. So that's an octave higher, and then the original was like this. You can even turn it down if you want. It's a bit of a nice glitchy effect there. You can go really crazy if you want to. So yeah, I hope you find this technique helpful. As I said, you can do a lot of things here, and I hope you can use this in your own productions. And if you like what I do, feel free to subscribe. A lot of you have been subscribing lately, which again, thank you very much. That's really appreciated. And if you enjoyed this video, leave a like. That also helps a lot. And I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.